What up, what up? I'm back at it again. As you probably realize or notice, there's something a little different about me up here. So yeah, I recently got my hair dyed by a really good friend. Her name is Suzy, or as she's known online, AfricanCreature. And she's this really famous hairdresser. She's done Beyonce's hair, she's done Solange's hair, she's done Brandy's hair, she's done so many different people's hair, and she's been working on natural hair and braids and things for over 10 years. She's a really, really lovely person. So I went to her shop in downtown Brooklyn and I got my hair dyed a couple days ago, and I love the way it looks. I wanted it a little darker, but she told me that it's going to get darker as the days go on. So basically we got like a box dye and we got to work, and at the last minute I was kind of like, wait a minute, I think I want to dye like my facial hair too. I want to dye like my beard. And she was like, I think that'll look great. So we did it and I like the way that it came out. I kind of look like a lion now. Simba is shaking. I'm coming for his spot. I just kind of wanted to make this video to talk about some things about my channel. So yeah, I just kind of lately have been feeling like my channel doesn't really have a real direction, and I know that I do talk about things like bisexuality and masculinity and manhood and therapy and mental wellness and things like that, but at the same time I still do feel like I don't really have a direction. So the reason I started this channel was because my book was about to come out. I was working with like a publicist and a team at the time, and they basically were saying that it's really important that I have a digital footprint, and people don't know who I am, so it's important for me to have a brand online talking about mental wellness, because my first book is self-help and talking about what it is to be a healthy man, healthy black person. A YouTube channel is a great place to start. So that's kind of how I got my start. And then after some time, after my book came out and everything like that, I still would sort of like dabble in the self-help realm, and I still kind of do, as you all can see. Confidence, personal power, and mental wellness is a part of that. But since I'm not working with that team anymore, and since my book has been out for years at this point, it kind of feels like, well, why am I still doing this in a way? And I do it because I do enjoy it. So that's kind of why I feel like some of my topics are quite sporadic. And there was a time on my channel where I really wasn't very consistent with posting, and that's because of that. Like I was just kind of like, well, yeah, like this is fun, this is cool for me, it is a great way to practice public speaking, but like, why am I doing this? And especially with all of the algorithm changes to YouTube, nobody will see your content, especially if you're black, especially if you're bisexual. YouTube suppresses smaller channels. In addition to that, it kind of was like, well, why am I doing this? And like, I should do it because I'm passionate about this, or like because I really enjoy it. So I still have been figuring out like, well, what do I really want to talk about on here? For a while I was also like, okay, well, I think it would be like cool for people to see, just like see an example of a black bisexual man and how he's processing and growing and learning about things like feminism. I think it would be a good example to set or whatever, right? I'm laughing because I feel like that's so like self-centered or so like appraising, but at the same time I kind of see, because it's like there's so much like men imitate each other being violent and dominant all the time, and that's all they see, that's all like we can witness. And so it is important to have other examples of how to be a man or whatever, right? But I don't know, something about that just felt like a little weird for me to say out loud. I am happy that people can get things from this channel, that I can pay it forward, that bisexuality is such a topic that people don't talk about. And so I am happy that people are able to get something from some of my videos and things like that. But I'm talking about me, like what is my purpose? Like why am I doing this? Why am I continuing at it, you know? And then also at like the end of last year, at the beginning of this year, I pretty much wrote another manuscript, and it's all about like bisexuality. It's all about bisexuality in men, for men. And so I have been shopping it around to different agents and things like that, and one agent in particular who I thought we were definitely going to either work together or I was gonna sign or whatever, he told me that like, I absolutely adore this manuscript. I think it is important, I think it is so well written, all the things, right? But he talked about how competitive the market is right now, and how unless I have like some enormous sort of like following or platform, it's just very unlikely that he will be able to sell the book. And that's just like the reality of what it is to be a writer. It's been like this for years, and that's just kind of what it is. So there was a part of me that was kind of like, okay, well, maybe I should just continue making videos about bisexuality and maybe my platform will grow or whatever. But it's so many things up against me, and it's so hard to build a platform. It's just so saturated. And in addition to YouTube suppressing smaller channels, in addition to YouTube suppressing black channels, in addition to YouTube suppressing bisexual channels, there's just so many things. It's just so many things. So I don't know, I'm just processing this stuff really. It didn't help me feeling more secure about what I was doing here on this YouTube space with me reading this essay. And the essay is amazing. The essay is titled Good Men and the Mythological Dichotomy Between Toxic Masculinity and Masculinity. And this was written by Saki Benibo and Joshua Briond. It's an incredible essay that I will link below that I really recommend everybody to read, specifically men and people who align with masculinity. But I did want to share just a few short passages about what stood out to me. Portraying masculinity and manhood as structural entities that subjugate and other non-masculine and non-men, and the inherent traits that come with it entirely is the first step to us ending patriarchy. If those with structural power are committed to the eradication of patriarchal violence, women, non-binary people, and non-cis heterosexual men, not opportunistic good men, need to be at the forefront of the social and intellectual struggle toward a better, more radical future. Creating an unfounded, erroneous, and mythological dichotomy between hegemonic masculinity and toxic masculinity allows them to preserve a view of themselves as good. The mere existence of such a dichotomy is deliberate. This good men versus bad men paradigm stems from the same not all men logic that ultimately benefits no one except men. These good men are so clueless that they don't even realize that what they are describing as toxic masculinity is actually hegemonic masculinity. What is often described as toxic masculinity is not the aberrant or deviant form of true masculinity in itself or good masculinity. It is the default. Within that framework, there is no actual split between toxic and non-toxic masculinity. So once again, they snapped, and that essay was just, for me, like, I don't just read pieces like that and then, oh, just go about my merry way. Like, oh, that was great. That was a great read. Oh, whatever. I am interested in transformation. I am interested in building a new world. And so as soon as I read that, I couldn't even include my intro anymore. Because at the end of my intro, it says, oh, what you'll find here is healthy masculinity. And it's like, you're not really understanding what masculinity and manhood is when it was created, when it was defined, and how it operates, how it functions in day-to-day life, you know? And so this might be a little far out for some people, because some people might be at certain places or levels where they're just like trying to figure out on a day-to-day basis how not to be misogynistic or things like that. But for me, I'm at a place now where I am literally where that article is, where that essay is, where it's like I'm going about this all wrong, trying to present myself as like, oh, a good guy, a good man, in the hopes that it's this example of how else to be or whatever. This needs to be dismantled. There is no healthy masculinity. That phrase, healthy masculinity. Masculinity, manhood is not healthy. So I am still just reckoning with all that I've learned and this desire to have a YouTube channel too. Really, structural power is what I'm doing leading to the structure changing, is what I'm doing leading to women being not subjugated to the system. Is that what I'm doing in my YouTube channel and just kind of in my everyday life? Capitalism obviously gets in the way of this, and I don't think I have the immediate power right now to control this, and I recognize that, but I can call things out. I can use my voice to call these things out, to, if I come across opportunities, to always reach out to women, suggest women for leadership roles. I don't know, child. It's kind of nice though, like being able to make this video, because I don't know, I'm not putting pressure on myself for it to be this like neat video, or this video where at the end it's like, oh, like now I know what to do. Now I don't know what to do. Inside I'm like struggling with all of these things that I've read and things that I believe, and also like capitalism, and I have to eat too, and community, and I don't know, like, you know, I guess I just wanted to like let you know some of my thoughts and see if some of these thoughts resonate with anybody else. If you've made it this far, please leave me some hearts down in the chat, and if you would like to help me in any way, my Cash App and my Venmo is right down below. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.